Hello, hello. Welcome to today's class. How are you guys? I'm just giving it a few minutes before we get started.
Good morning, Vanessa.
As you as you start coming in, we will follow the same workflow, I guess we did last week's class. So I will answer any questions at the end of the class that you have. If you have any questions regarding last week, please, that's what I would love to start with because I want to make sure that you guys are completely on the same page, that maybe you have been trying out any prompts or anything like that. So, actually, before I move on with regards to last week, if you have any questions, please type them in the chat or open mic if you wish, no problem. Let's give it about 2 more minutes because we also have a lot of confirmation that a lot of people will be joining us. So I just want to make sure. This week we have two classes. We also have a class on Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern because when you're building, it's a little bit sometimes things can break or fall apart, or if it's the first time, sometimes you don't know what to answer, things like that. So I just want to make sure that today you get to see the back part of it, the behind the scenes, and then you give it a try. And then on Thursday, if you have any questions, you bring it on and you can share your screen and we can work through it together. That's super important because remember, it's important for you to know if these automations break, how to fix them. And my biggest advice is you don't have to be an expert, you just have to be resourceful. And resourceful is I have been able to do things that I never thought I would be able to do just by asking AI and giving it good prompts. Even if it takes a few hours, it doesn't matter. It will give you the step by step process on why it broke, how to fix it, the whole 9 yards. So, as long as you know what the purpose is, what you're building, what you're doing, you will be able to really troubleshoot anything that happens. Hello, Joanna. Hello, Charlene. Okay, so I know Joanna just came on. We were just saying that if you have any questions of last week, please type them in the chat, or if you want an open mic as well. I do have a little disclaimer. I am waiting for the city's permit person to come. If that happens, I have my headphones so that you guys don't hear the dog barking and all of that, but just a little um, heads up. I don't know what time they're going to come or anything like that. We already passed 2 inspections this morning. Praise the Lord. So we just need one more. Hopefully, that will also go good. Oh, wait a minute. You probably are not hearing me because, can you hear me now? Because this was connected. Let's see. Yes, you can hear me. Yes. So the class on Thursday is taking place. I just said that a few minutes ago at 11 a.m. And the Thursday class is also going to take place this week. It is the 11 o'clock, the Friday class is a co working space. So you come and if you have any questions, you can ask them, but mainly it is to be able to do any work that you have to do. Put on the, I open the classroom. I also get off the camera and just do the work for an hour and a half, everyone here. And then if you have any questions, of course, you just type them in or things like that. Sometimes I also do lives on TikTok, but that it depends like what happens during the day. And sometimes I can keep up daily TikTok lives. Other times, mom life or work life happens and that won't happen. Okay, we're going to give it 1 more minute and we will begin. So we'll start at 11:06. Give me 1 second. It's coming now. Okay. Okay, so last week we talked about finding your ideal client so that you can sell your automations. If you have asked yourself, how are these automations being sold currently? They're being sold a lot with demo calls, literally someone picking up the phone and calling the companies that AI gave you as potential clients. They're that after they call, they send a link to a demo. A demo sometimes is you can do a demo with someone on the phone via Zoom, and you just show them this is how this AI receptionist works, and these are the benefits. You guys will get scripts for that, but this is just kind of for you to understand how that works. There's other ways like ads and of course networking, organic marketing as well. YouTube is working very well, and just it's working very well because basically what you do is you show your automation or your receptionist whatever workflow you created, and you speak about the benefits and how it could help them. So that's why it's working, because it kind of sells on its own. That's why the ideal client exercise is so important, because I had no idea that HVAC around my area would be the trade that would be the most open to getting automations. I thought it was electrical or plumbing, but I no, I thought it was plumbing, but AI showed us differently. So if you don't have any questions about last week's class, everybody is good to go with regards to their ideal customer and everything else. Okay, I'm going to share my screen of my little PowerPoint. Let me just make sure that it is ready to go. And let me see. It's opening. I'll share my screen in 1 second. Oh, wait a minute. Why is it that I can't share it? Okay, I'm going to share my screen. Hopefully, you guys will be able to see it. Window, entire screen, Chrome tab. All right, let's go here. And what I'll do is I will just see if we can open it from there and if you guys can see it. Let me check that you guys can actually see my screen, because I don't want this to happen like last time. Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna have to save it into my drive so that you guys can see this. Okay. Oh, I know why. It's because it's in the in Keynote. Okay. Let me share my screen. Also, remember that on Thursday, we're going to have, I try all of these links before I come on live. This is like the craziest thing. I always try these links every time before I come on live, and all of them work. It's when I'm on live that the same thing happens. Hold on 1 second. Let's figure this out. Let's see. Why isn't this opening here? No. All right, let's play it to see if it will give me like that. Okay. Okay, we're gonna start. I don't want you guys to wait for something to work or not work. So basically, after we found our ideal client, the next thing would be to actually build the AI receptionist. And why? Because this is an automation that is simple enough for us to learn in a few hours. And it's an automation that people in these trades will sell for. And you already know why. The problem that they're on the field, they can't answer the phone and they want to get more clients, but they don't have the skills, the time, the infrastructure to do this. So there's different ways that someone can implement this, or you as an AI automation consultant can sell this to your customers. One of the ways is that you just create the AI receptionist on a platform. And the way that that works is the customer's number, there's a number that your customer has already. And the AI receptionist is set up with a number. Usually, these numbers range between $10 and $20 a month. This is something that you have to consider, that it is part of your fees, right? So when you're going to sell this to someone, you're probably going to have what the platform that you use charge. If it's Lindy, if it's Band AI, if it is Lovable, whatever platform you choose, you want to know that part of your overhead expense is the platform and the phone number. When I say that the number is between $10 and $20, you'll see in a minute. But these platforms, they charge that. If your customer has a huge amount or volume of calls, the prices can go up a little bit. But I don't anticipate that happening. And if it does, I don't think that it's going to surpass, let's say, $30. It's cheap. So it's not something that, it's up to you how you run your business, but I don't think it's something that you have to worry about, or it's just part of your overhead expense. These AI receptionists can also be attached to your client's website, right? The reason why I'm going to teach you one in Lindy, and then on Thursday, I'm going to show you two more options. It's completely up to you which one you use. But the reason why these are really the way that I would go is because when somebody has an emergency, or when somebody really needs the trade that you are deciding to niche down in, they're going to call. Usually, when you have an emergency, you're not on the website. That is the second step that you take if you can get someone on the phone. But usually you Google like plumbing or HVAC near me, and you get a phone number and you call because you have an emergency. So the way that it works is that someone, let me see if I can share with you my Lindy. I'll share with you right now. Oh my goodness. Okay. So let me just close this for 1 second. This is what Lindy looks like. And Lindy is just any app like Lovable, or it does different things. Within those things, one of the things that it does is create agents. And agents are kind of like the next thing in AI, which is they are autonomous. And autonomous just means that they can think and they can do a step without you having to tell it to do a step, which is pretty cool, right? Before, you would need to connect things like Zapier or Make, but not anymore. Now, a lot of the platforms, even ChatGPT, GenSpark, Claude, they can actually do things without you having to tell. Okay, it's like they can think basically. So one of the things that Lindy does is that Lindy sets up the receptionist. And when you're setting up your receptionist, now that you know who your ideal customer is and their pain points, in Claude, let me show you guys in 1 second. You're going to get the prompts, but basically, what we want to do is in Claude, I'm going to download this to Drive to see if you can see it. I'm going to open Claude in 1 second. I know that you probably cannot see the screen, but I will share it with you in 1 second. Okay. So please give me the scripts for my specific trades. So in Claude, let me see, share this tab again. Yes. We are going to ask Claude, you're going to get the scripts or the prompts, but we're going to ask Claude to give us the prompt or the script for Lindy. And basically, what that means is you are telling Lindy, hey, Lindy, listen, you are a receptionist for an HVAC company, and we are located in Broward. This is the name of our company, this is who we service, these are the services that we do. If somebody says that they have any of these issues that is considered an emergency, and you're going to tell them that they can book an appointment immediately. When you're going to give, that's called a prompt. You're just telling Lindy, this is how I want you to act. And as a matter of fact, you can name the receptionist, right? I think mine's is named Sarah. Let's see here. Yes, I'm going to share this tab. So Sarah, let me see if I can open this and you guys can see. Let me see the settings. Okay. So the context is you are Sarah, a professional receptionist for Cool Air HVAC. And this is what you want, what I want Sarah to do. I'm going to go step by step in this so that you guys can follow along later on today, try it on your own and see how it works. Hold on one second. Let me go into Lindy myself. Okay. So this is how we're going to start. We're going to go into, wait, just to make sure that we're all on the same page. So we're going to get a prompt from Claude. If you did your homework, that same chat that you used to do research on your ideal client and who it is and who you want and all of those, I would suggest that you go back in that same chat in Claude or GenSpark or wherever you did it, and I would suggest that you input the prompt that you will get. And it's basically just saying, please, I'm going to create an AI receptionist in Lindy. I need you to please, based on the trade that I chose, give me a prompt that is going to tell Lindy everything that I need. So if you did plumbing, it's going to give it to you for plumbing or whatever it is that you did, right? Why in that same chat? Because it already has history of what you were doing, of your ideal clients, of their pain points. So what you're doing is you are training whatever LLM model that you're using, who you are, what your business is about, your ideal client, who you serve. That's important because the output that they give you is important based on that. So once you have the prompt, right, and you copy it over, you are going to open the Lindy app. Let me do it step by step so that you guys can see. And let me make sure I'm not missing anything. Okay. So this is Lindy. You're going to go here. Nothing is going to happen because I haven't bought a phone, but it's okay. You're going to go into lindy.ai. I'll share a code that I have. If you want, you can use it. You don't have to. It gives you a few free credits. So Lindy for receptionist, they charge $50 a month. You pay $10 per phone and per number, and I think that's about it. Again, in the beginning of our call, I was just sharing that these $50 for Lindy, it's not per client's account. It's your account. And I think you can have like 10 client accounts within those $50. The phone number is each client's number because basically what happens is that the number that they're using now is connected to this number in Lindy when they can't get to the phone. And that's when the whole process takes over. So whether it's because from the your client says from I want to do it all day. I want the receptionist to run all day and I just want to get the alerts as a text message and as an email, fine. Or I just want to do this after hours. because remember that in the ideal client profile that we were doing, we saw that a lot of the companies around my home said that they were 24/7. They were promising that, but they weren't, that wasn't really the case. They didn't have the infrastructure yet done. So it depends on what your client wants. I would assume that somebody that wants to do this, at least for the first 2 weeks, where we can gather a lot of data, would be someone that is willing to maybe have this all day, right? Just so that he can see how accurate it is, and you can as well. But that depends on what the person wants. So I share this so that you can keep in mind what your cost would be. Again, Lindy wouldn't be 50 per client. It would be 50 for your account, and then you can have several accounts within their credits. There's other options that I will show you on Thursday. They're maybe a little bit less expensive, but the learning curve is a lot longer. I don't care for $50 if I'm going to charge someone an implementation fee of 2,500 and then $200 a month. I don't care. That's just part of the cost that I'm going to assume. But each person handles their business however they want. That's just for you guys to know. Let me put do not disturb so you don't have to hear this. Okay. So this is basically Lindy's website, and then you can ask Lindy to do whatever you want. It already has templates, meaning that it already has. If you put LinkedIn outreach, it's going to ask you for your LinkedIn account, and it's going to set up maybe sending cold messages to your client, your prospects, things like that. Whatever, you can do whatever you like here, but if you want, and this is what I suggest at the beginning, is that you copy over the prompt. I actually have the prompt here. Let's see if I can do it all over again, just so that you guys can basically see the copy and paste, if anything. Okay. Is it opening? One second. Let me see. Let me see. Wait, is this an opening? Okay, let's go into Lindy and let me get the prompt from Claude. Here we go. So you are a professional. Let me share this tab so that you guys can see it. This is just, oh wait, you've reached your plan's limit. Okay. This is just, again, the prompt from Claude to connect over into Lindy. So here, let me just make sure that I copy all of this. And you can change the name, like you can update the name of your company. Obviously, it would be the name of the company that you're going to create this automation for. So that's it. We have plumbing, we have electrical. Let's do electrical because I already did HVAC. So let's just do plumbing just to see how it looks like. So we go back into Lindy. There we go. And all I do is copy and paste. So here you are a professional receptionist. You can put your company's name. Let's just say for Gutierrez Plumbing. A plumbing company, city, Weston, Florida. Your name is Vanessa. Who cares? You are warm, professional, and efficient. Your job, answer every call, collect information, how to answer. Thank you for calling Gutierrez Plumbing. This is receptionist. This is Vanessa. I don't want receptionist. I just want Vanessa. How can I help you today? Listen for these words: leaking, water, burst pipe, flood. These are emergency words. If you hear any of these emergencies, especially water damage, say, I understand this is urgent. Let me get your information right away and get someone out there. Collect their name, their email address, important if active leak. This is just basically, we want to make sure that she knows, that Vanessa, the receptionist, knows, like, okay, if it's urgent, you have to really convey to the customer that you understand that it's urgent and that you're going to get someone out there as soon as possible. So let me just make sure that I'm sharing. Okay, so you just press here and you press enter, and it's going to create the agent that is going to do that. Basically, our receptionist. There are a few things that they're going to ask you, like you need to connect your Google Calendar. And when I say you, I mean the business Google Calendar. You will most likely have to update the hours of operation, meaning um, the whole day. It's usually set to from 9 to 5, but if you want it from 24 hours, then that's something that you would have to update. I'm going to show you now. Click here to get your agent. Okay, so what we have is basically this is giving us back everything that we gave it, and it's telling us, hey, Vanessa, based on what you gave me and like the goals and what you want to achieve, I have already created her and I already told her what she needs to do. And it's finishing now. I am also going to tell you that I suggest that you add these few things to it so that everything is working great. You can accept that or you cannot. It doesn't matter. I'll share with you in a second. So it's updating it. When you see here this, just so that you know, you when you pay $50, I think it gives you 5,000 credits. If you sign up and you decide Lindy is the way to go, when you are signing up, I do suggest, if this is a platform that you're going to use, that you watch a few of their tutorials, because you want to change certain settings that allow you to optimize your credits. The first time that I used Lindy, I went through a lot of credits. I mean, it was a learning experience, but now I know a little bit better. So here it's telling us basically, okay, Vanessa, for you to do this, you need to connect the number. The agent that I had created for you guys, I created the number, I did everything, but then it said that I had to upgrade to an enterprise account. So I had to email them. I'm waiting to hear back from them because I know that that's incorrect. So I had to go and create just like a demo account. But basically, here, what you would do is you would select the number, and this one is $10 a month. Listen, there's other ways to do this in the sense that it can be a little bit cheaper, and that would be to get a number in something called Twilio. If you just want to do this and it's the difference is $10, that's what I would do. It's up to you. I would suggest first learning this automation, having it live if you desire, and then you could ask Claude or any AI, hey, I want to make this more cost effective or efficient, and then you can update all that. I'm not going to go into that because that's not what I'm going to do. Anyways, here you would just purchase the number. I already have one. On Thursday, you'll probably see it. I don't want to purchase another number. Let's pretend that you purchased it. This is the number that goes connected to your client's phone, whoever you sell the automation to. And then it says, after the call is received, right? What happens after the call is received? So here, all they're telling us is until you don't get the number, you can't answer phone calls. But we know we're pretending that we got the number, right? So here it's just saying, okay, so after the call is received, and it's just giving us the purpose of the agent, the trigger, the tools, Google, right? Because what is the purpose of this? That we immediately book someone to go out there because most likely this is going to be an emergency. If it's not an emergency, it's okay. We're also going to book, but that's like the priority of this one, right? And here it says agent role. So this was what I had copied over from Claude. They already knows the role. And then, okay, so somebody called. We're asking them, the leak and all of that, kind of deciding the AI, okay, is this an emergency? And do I need to get her booked immediately? Then, after we do that, the step is to perform an action. And what is the action? It is to check availability in the Google Doc. I just connected my Google Calendar just because obviously we need to connect the calendar. This would be the calendar that you connect from your client just for appointments. Please be really, when you do onboarding a client, and we're going to go over that in another class, it's important that in the documents you'll see that we ask for the calendar that really has to do with the appointments, whatever. Okay, here, this is important. So let me just make sure I'm still, yes, I am still here. Okay, because last time, remember that we had that. So here in the calendars, to check, you can change this, right? So list of time windows to check for availability, and you can put set manually. So it says the start of the window. Let's say that you say that you wanted to check from I don't know, from 10 in the morning to 3 in the afternoon, whatever the case, you can put it there. Or you can say auto, which means that you connect the calendar and AI just checks for the next soonest available appointment and it books it there, which is the idea. Here, the start, what time does the business open, or what time can you start scheduling appointments? So if you want to do this 24 hours, it would be 0 and 24, which means all day. Because if you are promoting 24/7 emergency response, there's no, it's all day. And then the days of the week, in the calendar, you can put 7 or 6, however the person wants. Maximum appointments per day, you can put 6, 9. Again, the same thing. This is just more about your calendar. Where it says define a condition, I want you to know this. Because what you're doing is an AI receptionist that you want to handle all the calls, and you want it to, you're selling to the person that you don't have to answer the phone, your receptionist will. Here, this define a condition is sometimes, let's say that you call a medical center, or you call I don't know, an insurance company or something else, and you know how frustrating it is where the AI doesn't really get us nowhere, and we're like, representative voice, I want to speak to someone. So in the define a condition, here what they're trying to tell you is, don't continue to set an appointment if the customer says to speak to a human, right? So if somebody calls and the receptionist starts taking over, the moment that the person, the human, says, I want to speak to a human, this is where it would stop and it would go directly to trying to reach the owner or the human receptionist or whoever it is. You have to discuss that with your client, right? Obviously, you're going to do test runs of this and you're going to show your client, and you guys are going to test the AI receptionist, but this is something that you have to discuss with them. I am assuming that at least for the first month, because they're building trust, they would want to have this. They could even have it to where one of the girls in our community, Trinity, she works for a construction company. She could even have it to where they reach her, right? Because either way, she's working, so you can do it to that. I'm just gonna put the condition as always. Where's my condition here? Um, when human says when human has to speak to human, when client or customer, doesn't matter. So that's the one that I'm going to put, but that's important that you discuss that. Okay, so quickly, AI, Vanessa receptionist is checking the availability, and then let's add the step, right? Because what is it? You don't only check, you book it. So in the calendar, create the event, right? Here for check availability, you can also use the one, let me just show you. Can I show you? You can also use the one that says check availability, and that is in the client's Google Calendar, you can put availability based on color mapping in your calendar. Let's say that there's emergency ones, so you have yellow, and then you have purple if it's because they need to get something that is not as emergency, maybe changing a faucet or something like that, right? So that it always prioritizes emergency, and then it will take the next slot for changing faucets, basically non emergency. Okay, so here in create the event, again, it's just going to tell you ask for confirmation. So confirmation says it's just the conversation. The AI receptionist says, okay, I understand this is an emergency. It's urgent. I'm going to help you right away. I'm going to book someone. Just to confirm, you would like to set up an appointment for someone to go to your residence as soon as possible. Yes. Okay. If you don't want the receptionist to ask the human or the client for confirmation, you don't have to click this. It just continues. Okay, the next available appointment is at 12 p.m. Does that work for you? Yes. Okay, so you're going to receive a text message with the name of the technician that will be out there in the next 30 minutes, or that's their estimated arrival time, So it's up to you if you want it. Name of the calendar event. Again, this auto just means that the receptionist says emergency response appointment at Vanessa's house, meaning the technician is going to go there for an emergency response. You can change that if you want to. This is just really up to you and your client. It doesn't matter. Here, start. Obviously, you do want to have enough time because if somebody's already working an emergency, you want to give it, I don't know, maybe max 3 hours, or however amount of time your client says that that usually takes. And they will have an approximate. And you will know all of this in their onboarding documents that you will get. So it blocks the time, attendees to invite. So this is important. Why? Because this event is going to send an email to the client, and it's going to send an email to the owner, the technician, whoever is going to go do the job. So here you can put set manually, and then you just put the person's email address, or yeah, this is for the email. Okay. True if attendee is optional. No, no, it's not optional. Okay. Conference type, and you can select an option, but this is not for someone to go out to your home, because this is an appointment of an emergency response. So we don't need any conference link, conference type, none of that. And then this is just a signature from Lindy, and you can set it manually as well, like Gutierrez Plumbing or Vanessa's plumber is going out there. Very self-explanatory. Okay, then when you create the event, right? So the event was created, the person got the email, but we also want to get the person to send the person a text message or a WhatsApp message, again, so we can perform an action. And it could be, and we also, of course, want to update this either into a Google Sheet if your client maybe doesn't have a CRM, or update it into their CRM. It depends where do they keep the records. So you can, after the appointment is set, the last thing that we can do is, if we would like, is we can send it to a Google Sheet or a Google Drive. I don't think so. It would only be like a Google Sheet. And what we want to do is just Get current user. No. What we want to do, one second, is update it. And it's just something like, oh, hold on, it's just asking me to get into my Google account. Like, oh my God, I don't remember this password. No, thanks. Continue. Yes. Oh my God. One second. I'm just, okay. So it's going to update the role. This person called and they sent out an appointment, and Vanessa's plumber is going to see the plumbing company. I mean, the issue today, right? That is what happens automatically. That is what should happen automatically when somebody calls the number. Up to here, what questions do we have before I continue anything else? Any other questions up to here? And you can ask them in the chat, you can open your mic, it doesn't matter. No questions up to here. Okay.
Vanessa, I do have a question. Can you go over the step
Hold on one second, I want to show
after
you guys something.
you send, after you make the appointment on
Okay.
the calendar,
So
you,
this is again the simplest way, and the what happens automatically, your automation of a receptionist. What you're also going to get is how many calls came in. It's basically the data, how many calls came in, um, anything you want, really, like how many minutes were they on the call? Did this call lead to an appointment? Did this appointment lead to a sale? And at the end of the month, how much does that represent in numbers? If you do that, what happens is that's data driven, and you can prove that your automation has generated an increase of 20%, 30%, 40%, whatever percentage it is for your client. That is a successful. Yes, I will in one second, Charlene. That is a successful automation. That automation and that testimonial will serve for you to close a lot more clients, and in a way as simple as putting that testimonial in your landing page. So maybe somebody that's checking you out for whatever reason, your service, they'll be like, oh, Vanessa's plumbing hired Maria, and Maria's AI receptionist actually worked for her. Look what she's saying here. So it's like a great thing to have. Okay, so Charlene says, can you go over the calendar app is made to get the bot to text the owner? Yes, because remember, imagine that the owner's out there, right? And they're like fixing a pipe in someone's house, or the HVAC or whatever. You want them to know that they got an alert. Hello, in, I don't know, 50 minutes, an hour from now, you have an emergency response job, or, respond as soon as you can to this address. So the client that called said gets, okay, we are sending someone out there within the next 45 minutes. And the owner gets an email saying, hey, you have an emergency response. Can you send someone right now? In an ideal world, if your owner has any technicians, their calendar could be really up to date, where literally if they book a job, or if they're at a job site, it won't allow AI to book that time slot. So if that was the case, as soon as this receptionist here in the check availability, as soon as they ran it, they would really gather truthful availability, meaning yes, whatever time they tell you, like let's say it's 11:45, if it sees that at 12 there's nothing, it would literally give you something accurate, right? Meaning At 12, it would book it, and whatever time it takes for them to get to the address. In construction, this doesn't usually work like that. They're not very much, they don't keep up with systems, which is why we're here. So we want them to be able to confirm, yes, I can go. Yes, I received the message. Yes, I got it. I want you to try it out like this, but on Thursday, I also want to add a text message to it because maybe they're not checking their website or their email. So you want them to also get a text message, and it could be a WhatsApp or just a regular text message. But usually we see text messages more than emails because we want them to know, like, hey, go, you have to go right now. You can even make it to where the AI calls the owner if it's like after 8 o'clock, maybe somebody's sleeping, or 9 o'clock. They call and call and call until somebody answers the phone, just because you want to make sure that the person answers the call, right? So this is where you would start. I will share. Let me share the. Let me stop sharing for 1 second here. I'm going to put in the chat the Lindy code or whatever. You can use it to create the same automation, and it won't be. It'll be free, I believe. But I wanted to share something that I also did on HeyGen, because if you haven't done last week's homework, this is going to help you. But I wanted you first to do the homework and then to do this so that you get kind of used to it and it works better. Okay, let me share my screen here. So, in here, remember that last week we did um, the ideal market research, and we found the people around us that were the best candidates, the whole 9 yards. So GenSpark for me is my favorite out of Claude, out of Perplexity, out of ChatGPT, out of all of them. And usually these vary, right? One wins for a few weeks or a few months, and then the other one. But GenSpark has something that, yes, you just keep it. Congrats, Joanna. You just keep it for you, because, and I would upload it like in a Google Drive for yourself, because that is important that you have identified your people. And you know when you're going to know? When you start selling. If you're like, no, I'm not closing sales, or there's something going on, usually going back and making sure, like, am I talking to this person? Am I really solving these needs with my automation? That's when doing the homework will pay off. Even if you ever decide to run ads, again, that comes from there, because any lead magnet that is successful has to do with when your client or your prospect reads it, oh my god, yes, that's me. And the only way we get that is when we know their pains and their desires. So yes, congratulations, you're welcome. Okay, so you already know the ideal client, the whole 9 yard. GenSpark here, where you see super agent and all of this. Let me quickly show you. Hold on. Here's where I am in GenSpark. Okay. This basically means that if you go into super agent, it will give you, and you give it a prompt, it will communicate with all these other ones. Look, guys, with all of these other ones, it will even call for you. Okay. It's so cool. And basically, you don't have to tell it, oh, use Claude or use Perplexity. No, it uses the one that it believes that is the best for the task that you are asking. And it does so much. We'll learn more about this. I don't want to confuse you. I just wanted to show you a quick way that I could, that I use it and you can use it. So I just said, I need an agent for this. I need you to research construction contractors in your city and your state who are ideal clients for AI lead caption capture, and then the target HVAC. Remember that this was based on what we did, right? I'm not making this up. I just didn't want to do it myself, going in there manually. And it gave me all of the ones that it thinks that are the best ones. And let me open this. Okay, so deep research, it means it used a specific AI, which is what? Maybe Claude here it used. Okay, so here it's telling me which ones are the ones around my home, that the name, the company name, the phone number, the size. Why can't I open this? Hold on, girls. Okay. Yes. Hold on. You're gonna see. It's gonna give you everything you can imagine. And it will, if you want to, it will do this weekly. If you add a task to it, and it just gives you, it updates your Google Sheet or whatever you're using weekly with new potential customers. Oh, come on. Okay, here. So it basically scraped the internet, and it told you, it gave you a little chart, right? And it's going to tell you just to follow up on your clients and how many attempts and things like that. But it's going to tell you why and how to create like an opening demo or statement or things like that, which is really, really cool. I want you to see this. I want to make sure that you guys can see this. Yes, you can. These are actually um, AI receptionists that are already selling. Okay. This is proven. These are already selling. And again, this will give it to you for electrical, for any trade that you chose or that you want to, right? So these are ones that are already selling. It's the same exact thing that we have. The only thing that maybe differs is that instead of using Lindy, some people use Zapier or Make. They're not hard to learn. I would say it just takes a little bit more time. Zapier is very self explanatory, it's very user friendly and I guess beginner friendly. But again, the reason why I use this is because in a few minutes I can have 10 new leads if I wanted to, right? Just that I know based on everything I gave it, these are qualified leads. I'm not randomly like getting information and just calling anyone. No, because in the prompt that I gave it, it says, I want to know that they check their Google reviews. Did anybody say that they took a long time answering? Is it true that they are 24/7? What else did we say? And here it tells you exactly why. Hold on. The pain points, right? So Pembroke Pines AC, very low review, weak trust, visibility unclear, after hours capture, likely owner answering the phones, and it even gives you the priority. So this basically is somebody that potentially I could call today and sell them an automation. So you can, this is something that continues to go every week, and you can get qualified leads. Sometimes people have to pay a lot of money to get these leads, and you can do it just by going into GenSpark with the prompt that you used last week in finding your ideal client's pain points. And remember, the only thing is the zip code, right? Because you want to make sure. Remember, I told you guys that I didn't believe that um, HVAC was the one that would come up for me, and it did. So you want to make sure that that happens. And GenSpark you can also use for free. I will also I have a link as well. GenSpark allows this to be downloaded as a Google Drive already pre-filled. So all you would have to do is in your Google Drive just click that you did call or update anything that you want. So this was just something that I saw and I was like, oh my God, it worked really well. And I wanted to share it with you guys. Okay, let me stop here. Okay, so I am going to send out, listen to me, please, please. I'm going to send out the prompts and the steps so that you can try your Lindy AI receptionist. On Thursday at 11 a.m., I'm going to show you another option that you have and what is a back like the back end where the data comes in. And for me, it's one of the strongest selling points that you will have. That means that you will have created your first automation. It's important that you test it. On Thursday, you'll see how to test it, because you want to make sure that it works. Remember that either way, things can break, things can, you know, damage, disconnect. You don't have to be an expert in everything, just be resourceful, which means asking the correct prompts to any LLM model, or every one of these platforms, Lindy, Lovable, GenSpark, they have so much free education. They want you to be an expert because, of course, these are monthly paying platforms. And the more that you know how to use it, the more you fall in love with it, you create fidelity with it, and you don't want to move. So they're basically, that's part of their client acquisition. So if you YouTube GenSpark or ChatGPT, Agentic, is it? OpenAI has like this free AI expert program that is mind blowing, and everything is free. So if you're using Lindy and one day something breaks or they have great customer service. The majority of them do, and they have incredible tutorials. So just be resourceful. Of course, you can always ask me, of course, but they really want to help you guys. We finished on time. Other than that, what else? Friday we have co-working, um, which means you can come, and if you want to practice your automation, once you do one automation and it's working and everything else, you don't have to do anything else. That same automation is what you would sell to as many clients as you want. The only thing that you will change will be the access of the Google Calendar and the emails. But the automation stays the same. You don't change anything else unless you want to. I suggest that until you're not making, a good figure a month, don't add more things. But once you're there and maybe you even have an assistant, you know, then you can add other things, and it's always going to be easier because the clients already know you, they like you, and they trust you. And because it's data driven, this receptionist, you will be able to show them based also on numbers and money, right? So if you cultivate that relationship, you will have it forever. Kid you not. No one's gonna, especially not in construction. They don't like changes. That's why we have an opportunity with AI, because they don't like changes. They don't like none of it. I would also recommend starting here with this one. It's easy, it's simple. Once you get it, and it works. I have seen women that actually, I've seen a lot of them in one on one consultations, and they have built a lot of things and they haven't been able to sell them because it's not about building more, especially not for construction. They don't want anything that makes them feel like it's going to be too much to learn or anything like that. So just, keep that in mind. And I think that's it. Play around with it. It doesn't matter. You can't do anything wrong. I'm going to put in the community right now the Lindy credits. If you want them, you don't have to use them. And I don't get paid, I just get credits as well. And the GenSpark as well, if you want to give it a try. And it's enough for you to build it and see if you like it. For me, it's one of the easiest ones. And even if I pay $20 more, I'd rather do that than go through hours of learning with another one. It's up to you. Thank you for being here. I am very excited that you're here. I hope that you build your automation, and this is probably one of the weeks where maybe a little bit of, oh, is this going to work? Or it is. It's going to work. It's simple. Once you get it, you get it. If you've never done one in the past, it's normal for the brain right now to be like, what in the world? Very simple. Once you get it, this is an automation that you can use in any industry at the moment. A lot of people are also, unfortunately, I guess, going to be transferring to this because this, compared to hiring a human receptionist, as you can imagine, is a lot less than having one. So with that, I will see you guys on Thursday. today's Monday, yeah. On Thursday at 11 a.m. I think I'm gonna do a TikTok live maybe later today and tomorrow. So if you want to join, you can absolutely join. We're gonna talk a little bit more about certifications and bids and things like that. Other than that, I'll see you guys soon.